So before working with Melissa, I was working as an independent consultant and oftentimes finding myself having a lot of questions around how do I do specific things, particularly around pricing, particularly around seeking clients, and particularly around positioning myself. How do I position the work that I do? Because in many ways, it's pretty unique. It's not very standard, the type of work that I do. And so I looked online and I ended up finding a lot of different resources for independent consultants. And I started to consume a ton of content and I found Melissa's through the podcast. So I found her podcast. I ended up probably listening to 3 episodes a week to 4 episodes a week and just getting a lot of insight from those conversations and those resources. And that's how I ended up reaching out to her. I was probably doing some of the things that she taught me how to do, but probably didn't know the full potential of what was available to me if I had a system in place or if I was a bit more intentional with how I show up in the world. I think the biggest one is the mental models and how do you show up in the world and what is possible and available to you when you have the right mindset. And so I was very likely doing some of the work and some of the insights that she had shared with me, but not to the full potential. I would also say that I definitely had some blind spots around some really key critical elements of my business, like the pricing. So really a huge shift for me was thinking of hourly price. And actually, Melissa encouraged me to step into value-based pricing, which was a game changer for me. And I think the one that is probably the biggest resource that I continue to grow into every day that she shared with me is the invitation of building the business the way I want to step into it. So I had this limiting belief, I think, before working with her that I needed to replicate what I already knew coming as a corporate consultant. And some of the things I didn't love, like the really long hours, were not something I particularly loved, but I was replicating because that's what I knew what to do. So that invitation of you get to set your own day to day and you get to set your own work to fit your needs is something that, funny enough, I hadn't really realized until she really helped me step into that. Something I loved about working with Melissa is that I get to oftentimes see some of the most challenging, sort of like hard, tightened things with a lot of like fun and different perspective. By the time I end up working with her, it's like, oh, how did I came into this call thinking that it was this really heavy, tight thing? And by the time 45 minutes or 50 minutes after, I feel like I'm just feeling very light about it and even find it humorous in some way, shape, or form. So that has been very empowering, to be honest. If you are an independent consultant that finds yourself like having some blind spots, find yourself not knowing if you're missing something, not knowing how to tackle something challenging, then working with Melissa is just incredibly helpful because she provides a lot of the systems, the mindsets, and she provides this insight to making it easy. Doing this is hard. So being an independent consultant on your own is hard at times because you don't have that partner and you are very much still learning as you go. As an entrepreneur, you're learning as you go. As a business owner, you're learning as you go. And I think or I'll speak for myself. I think for me, I found myself limiting myself, not by intention, but actually just because I didn't know sort of the ceiling. I didn't know anything better. I didn't know the possibilities. So working with a coach kind of opens doors and opens possibilities that I think would be hard to stumble upon by yourself. And I would say to a friend or somebody that is interested into stepping into independent consulting, I cannot recommend it enough. If you feel like you can do it and you're already thinking about it, the likelihood is that you can do it and you would be good doing that shift, making that shift. And having somebody to support you in that transition is going to save you headaches, is going to pay itself really quickly, and it's just going to open the world of possibilities.